It don't stop, baby. Just girl did don't mean we don't. Okay. Listen,
Okay.
this is just such an awesome, awesome experience to have. So thank you so much. It is an honor and a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you, KUAW. And I'm excited. I just want to jump in and just pick your brain. Because I don't know if you know, so where I'm also a stand-up comedian. And so I
Yay.
have questions, honey. Questions.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just want to know your comedy story. Like, how did you start being this force that you were on stage?
Really, what happened, I started my entertainment career as a dancer, for all the old school, old heads, throwback. I thought I was going to be Lola Falana, Paula
Okay.
Kelly,
Yes.
Catherine Dunham. I thought I was going to get in Alvin Alley. I thought I was going to be all the way Sunday
Mm.
morning with the umbrella on Broadway. But my height and my dance ability said, we're going to need you to find something else to do. So
Oh,
I
girl,
was a
Sugar
singer.
with the shimmy. Sure.
Right. Oh yes. Oh
Yes,
yes.
step ball
So
chain,
and
step ball chain.
yes, yes. Oh, my kickball chain was fire. And I was
Yes.
taking tap classes. And in the summer, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. So in the summer, they had these programs. Oh yes, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, shout out to all my relatives in Topeka, Kansas.
Come
All my
on.
relatives. That's right. All over Kansas City, Kansas and Missouri. I'm shouting out everybody, all my relatives. Anyway, so when I found out I really didn't have the talent for dancing to make it a career, and I had a little light, kind of Diana Ross's type voice, so I was like, well, maybe I can be a singer. I could sing, I just couldn't sing.
Okay.
You
Hmm.
know,
There is a
you got to
difference.
be able to
Everybody don't know that.
sing, right?
You can auto tune it
Maybe you
though.
busy. Say it again. Say
You
it
can
They
again.
auto
have,
tune
they had that.
it.
And so because I wasn't the greatest singer in the world, and I knew that I couldn't make it a career, but I wanted to be in entertainment and I wanted to produce entertainment. And I felt that as a woman, first a woman, I watched other women, Lucille Ball, Ida
Mhm.
Lupino, and then when Oprah Winfrey built her empire. But I noticed in all of these women, they were performers
Mhm.
who made their bones as a
Mm.
performer. And then when Lucille Ball, because it's Desi Lou, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When Oprah Winfrey, Harpo Productions. So I felt what I need to do was find a way to perform so I can make a name for myself, make money to invest in my productions. Long before a Tyler Perry comes up, I watch white women talk about ownership.
Mm.
So I think, well, ownership must be that thing. So long story long,
Actually
I
need these
find a
type of
way to
things.
do
We
comedy
have to
because my
start
brother
thinking like that.
was
We have to get
definitely
our
my
minds right,
father.
child,
Oh,
because
my daddy,
time is
funny as
money.
I don't know what.
Time is
Sorry.
money. We have to start
And say
creating
stuff like time or make a monkey eat rabbit.
foundation for
Hilarious.
our
I'll be writing that down. My daddy was hilarious.
we have to start
Chicken ain't
thinking
nothing
like
but
that.
a
We have to
bird
get our
with a
minds
prime
right,
school.
because
Still a bird.
time
But
is
my dad,
money.
and so my dad, we from Arkansas, but how Southern men they sit around each other and they talk smack. I was
Yes.
like,
Really that Rudy Ray
Absolutely.
Moore, huh?
yeah, that's what I
Absolutely.
want to do right there. And me and my daddy close, so I said I want to be that. So I find a way to get into comedy, but in watching women do comedy, women are at that time, women were talking about why they didn't have a man. And it was just really, it wasn't empowering to me.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, one day I'll find a man. Or it was, I'm unattractive. Or it was not as powerful as Richard Pryor.
Right.
It wasn't as powerful as Eddie Murphy. It wasn't as powerful as Mort Saul. It wasn't
Mhm.
as powerful as Dick Gregory, right? Even Godfrey Cambridge making Watermelon Man, you
Yes.
didn't really have women doing that power except for Mom's Mabley.
Come
And
on.
then,
Now we
so
about
I
to get
see
a
Mom's
lesson,
Mabley
baby.
on shows, Ed Sullivan shows, white variety show, killing it in a house coat.
Yes.
I go, all right, now I see me. And
Mhm.
then I see Richard Pryor, and now I hear me, Richard
Right.
Pryor. Then comes Eddie Murphy. I hear me, and I could do it. And then in my brain, I wanted to be like George Carlin, definitely Dick Gregory. And Dick Gregory has a connection to my family, which is in his autobiography, that from Chicago, my aunt and uncle rented him an apartment.
Wow.
So with all of that coming together, I say I want to do comedy, but I want to do comedy like a man.
Come on. I
Yes,
love it.
I'm still a woman, and I know that. And I want to have my femininity, but I want to have stage power. I want to influence the way people think, and I want to have a career with longevity so that I can evolve. So, okay, and I'm going to stop right there because I see my sorrow thinking. I feel
Listen, first of all, chills, and just, watching you, I see it. I see where you're going, and as a female in comic, I get told a lot, you're like a dude on stage, and it's just about that power, having cadence, and just, know how that laughter moves up and backwards, and just, it's like being a choir director, so I feel it. I totally get it. And you are that woman on stage. You bring a whole different energy, and you just have this dominance. You get
and that's
people.
what it is, Sarah.
Yes.
From being in the Black church and watching how the preacher pull you into something. And then the preacher, he don't even know you. And you be like, ooh, how he know?
Right. How do you know my story? Yes.
This is my story. This is my song.
Yes.
Praising the Savior all day long. So I wanted a spirituality inside of my comedy, even though I knew it was adult. And because I felt in studying the history of comedy, the greatest comics were adult comics who had mastered the mechanics of comedy so strong with their personalities embedded in it that when it was time for them to go mainstream, TV shows, movies, they could effortlessly transition. But the other thing that I really wanted was the ability to evolve as a comic and as a thought-provoking individual, like I was watching Richard Pryor do it. And that's what I wanted. But I also saw that knowledge that Dick Gregory was imparting to people. But then I saw Marsha Warfield and Whoopi Goldberg. And I said, all right, there are women out there who are just as strong. But then I saw other women in movies, and especially white, and then I got to meet Hispanic female comics. And I was like, we can be stronger as women comics and we can do relationship comedy. We can also do political comedy.
Yes.
And we can merge it all together and have it be evolutionary so that you can evolve and people could learn. I remember when Cheryl was telling these jokes. Right. And then I remember when Cheryl transitioned to tell these jokes. And that's what I wanted. So when I die, when somebody stands up to speak for me as a comic, thinking, girl, that comic was equal to all comics. She wasn't just a Black female comic. She was a comic that touched people's lives.
Yes.
And I want to be remembered.
Yes, you are. And we need to give you your roses while you are here. Definitely. So I think this is a good segue. I want to ask you this because you have this cadence, you have this performance, and you are known for, you have jokes that are iconic, that have stretched, history. I want to ask you, as a member of Zeta, do you ever feel that you have to code switch when it comes to what you do in our organization? Because people, I know everybody knows you are a former, national president of our organization, and just, everything that you've always been active within Zeta and have done everything that since I've been a member, you've been on a national board. So do you ever feel that you have to code switch in between being the comic that you are and then being the profound member you are of this organization?
I'm glad you asked me that because one of our principles is
finer womanhood, baby.
That's right. That's right. And I feel finer womanhood is a way that a woman should carry herself. But as a Zeta, who is a comic, I remember being backstage taping Def Comedy Jam. And I was new to Zeta, new in just a couple of years, being a Zeta. learning, trying to evolve myself into this great sisterhood that I love dearly. And we were all standing backstage. Steve Harvey, Omega Psi Phi. You know, I'm standing with Juan Dexter, Phi Beta Sigma. I'm standing with I forgot this brother's name, but he was an alpha and a comic. So I'm standing with I think her name is Leanne, and I can't remember her last name, but she's a Sigma Gamma Rho. So I'm and then you know you got Kim Whitley, Delta Sigma Theta.
Yes.
You know, so you got all these Greeks. And we're all talking to each other, and I say, so where is the shout out? Now you know, I'm talking about. I came in spring 1990. Right?
Okay.
Grad chapter, Zeta Tau Zeta chapter, Chicago, Illinois, Great Lakes region.
Amen.
Last pledge line. So, and I'm telling you my history, so you'll understand. I'm about to walk on HBO.
And roll
Where
call.
are you all shouting out your organizations?
Right.
Now, I know I'm about to do a set that is not final womanhood because you can't bomb on Def Comedy Jam.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I got my set. I'm about to pow, pow. I'm going to do some combination of rope dope for these jokes, right? And then I think to myself, how do I show the world that I have mastered the mechanics of comedy, the technical prowess of comedy to be on an HBO stage when others were trying to keep me off this stage so I would not be discovered, right? And I think first, do the set with professionalism.
Yes.
Second, get the shout out for the organization. And a lot of members were not happy, because I was using 7 dirty words and 5 that I had made up myself. I was doing the doggone thing. People had said they had never seen anything like that on Def Comedy Jam from a woman. But when Martin Lawrence brought me back out and said, I know she a little dirty, but she funny. So in answer to your question, I try to remain in the body of Zeta, so that the things that I needed to learn from this great sisterhood, I could receive. And it was the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma, our brothers, who at that time saved my life in paying me to come perform at regional conferences.
Yes.
They booked me to come to perform at regional conferences. So that's how I made money. Made money to start my first companies. Made money to pay my bills. Because there was you can't be this, we don't want you here, from people who said, I'd rather be anything else but her. Right?
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, do I have to code switch? I think Black people are the only race of people that have to code switch. We have to code switch between cultures. You know, we have to code switch between expectations.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Come on. Yes.
Okay. So, you want co-sign Busy Bee? Y'all want co-sign?
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm at work right now. I'm switching.
Absolutely.
Myself in the room. I'm switched up.
Yes.
That's right. I even wrote a joke about it where we have to be two people. You know, you talking to the phone company and you didn't pay that bill, but you're trying to get some relief. Excuse me, can I talk to you about my bill? Or no? You know, yes, I neglected to sign the check, and if you could just let me send you another check,
absolutely,
I will put it in the mail expeditiously.
And then
you can apply that,
and
have 2 checks, and then I will be beyond sufficient to have my phone cut back on. Now, that's us.
I love it.
Somebody wrote that down because it's getting cold outside.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
The cold weather rule is in effect.
It's what we call more European.
Yes.
But you know you paid the bill. And I don't care what y'all didn't apply. I got the canceled check. You don't pay my bill, I'm going to jump across this counter and whoop your bloop-de-bloop-de-bloop-de-bloop.
Yeah.
We have to be 2 people.
Absolutely,
and
at all times.
Everybody else you can watch these Karens get up and act crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we know we have to be more restrained. Well, in terms of Zeta, what I learned was I'm not an honorary Zeta.
No.
I'm a made Zeta.
Yes.
Hello.
So-
It's a difference. People don't
It's
know
a difference. It's a
Yes.
difference.
Signed,
And
sealed,
what
and
I did
delivered,
was-
baby.
And I went to chapter meeting, and I went to state meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to regional meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I answered the call every time them old sorors said, Soror Underwood, we need you to run for something. I don't know don't nobody ask you if you qualified. We got
Yeah.
the votes. You gonna
Yeah.
get qualified. Get yourself together. You
Yeah.
you do communication. Get your speech. That's how they talk to you, Soror. They talk, write a speech. Well, okay, let me start writing. You got 2 minutes. That's how they talk to you. And that prepared me for life.
It
And I'm
did.
glad that Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was the organization that allowed me to be me
Mm-hmm.
and allowed me to grow. And I will say, last but not least, coming up the ranks, being the National Director of Honorary Membership under the presidency of Soror Barbara West Carpenter.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Being on the Capital Campaign Committee, being graduate member large and chairman of the board under the presidency of Triumphant Soror Barbara C. Moore. And then
Ooh, I'm getting
becoming
chills.
Grand Basilisk myself. I felt that Zeta understood that I had something to give to this
Absolutely.
organization in service. But the day, the time that we were sitting in the centennial of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in 2008, and they say, and now the International Grand Basilisk of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Cheryl P. Underwood, and the room explodes,
Mhm.
and Zeta gets a standing ovation. What I'm saying to all Zetas, you can have that duality in your life.
You can.
That's what makes you a finer woman, to have duality. You have to know there's a time and place for everything, and to go from nightclub comedy to HBO
Mm-hmm.
to BET
Mm-hmm.
to Showtime at the Apollo Comedy Hour, and then to go on and people say, oh, no, she won't make it because she's too dirty. She's too adult. She does blue comedy. And I'll explain to you later where the term blue comedy comes from. But then to say, I can get on The View. I get on The View
Right.
and I kill it so
Come
much
on.
that Whoopi Goldberg pulls me in a room and says, that's how you do a political set on TV in
Yes.
daytime.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And then what happens? I get the talk on CBS, been there for 10 years. That is God.
yes.
Hold
That
it down,
is-
sister. Hold
If
it
you
down.
put
Yes.
God first, if you put God first, everything else will fall into place. And I put God first, and I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta. I'm in the Church of Christ, not a good member of the Church of Christ. We'll talk about that. but I love the Lord with all my heart and all my soul. So yes, I understand there is a time and a place for everything. And when you're about the business of Zeta and the representation of Zeta, that's what being a finer woman is all about. Okay, I'm sorry, Sarah. So what's your next question?
It's all good. You are literally. I have
Like,
chills right now.
It
It is.
Lord.
It's amazing just to hear it and just you just to understand what this is doing for me. I'm gonna cry later.
But
But
we will do this again.
Yes,
This is not the last time.
absolutely.
This was just the first time.
yes, yes. I do want to ask you this. Just the status quo of America. I have to ask, how has COVID impacted you as a performer? As a daytime television host. How has this changed your outlook? Have you slowed down, or are you just full throttle and covered by the blood of Jesus? How has this
Amen.
impacted you?
Well, we always covered by the blood of Jesus, but that don't make
Yes.
you stupid.
Yes,
God
absolutely.
made your brain, just like he made Bill Gates' brain, Jeff Bezos' brain, all these geniuses out here. You have to apply that wisdom that the Lord have given you, that knowledge that the Lord have given you. As far as COVID goes, it was the last, I think it was the middle of March, I think it was 12th and 13th. I was in North Carolina, Raleigh. I was at the Raleigh Improv. And our Friday, we did both shows on Friday. We did the distancing and everything. And then on Saturday, the governor shut down the state of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So all that money was gone. That show was, and all my shows were sold out, right?
Wow.
And so with COVID, I had to figure out what I was going to do. So first thing I started to do was pray. And I asked God to show me the wisdom of how I'm going to pay everyone that needs me, from the people that care for my sister, from everybody that works at Cheryl Underwood Radio, Pack Rat Productions, Pack Rat Foundation for Education. So I started to think of everybody else, and I thought, what should I touch my pension? Should I touch my savings? But then I don't have enough. And then I asked the Lord, give me the wisdom, give me the tools, and give me the words, Lord, so I can help get the talk back on the air. We came on with Zoom, and that saved my company, and it allowed me to pay everybody that was dependent on me through the first part of COVID all the way up to now. And then I started to get calls because comedy clubs are suffering. And I said, I can't go back out in the comedy clubs because my audience is the audience that gets COVID. But also my audience may not have the health care. That's why this battle, this vote is where we have to jump in on this, because if they get affordable health care repealed, if they stack these courts with people that want to dismantle everything President Obama and Vice President Biden put in place, we are in big trouble. So I told the comedy clubs, I said, I can't come out until this is settled. I can't do comedy until this is settled, because people are going to need some humor. They're going to need a respite, and they're going to want a fellowship, and I can't do this to you.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, and I would be destroyed if someone got sick because they had to come to work in the comedy club, or they had to come to the comedy club because they were so frustrated with being in the crib. So I've asked the Lord to help me produce things that keep comics working. We're going to try to build a coalition. We heard that Jimmy Fallon was giving comedy clubs $15,000 per club to try to stay afloat. We're going to try to do that with the Chris Rocks and the Steve Harveys and the Ricky Smileys, you know, and the D.L. Hughleys and myself, all of us out there that are getting a check. Cedric the Entertainer's on the Neighborhood on CBS. I'm on the Talk on CBS. Let's try, Lonnie Love, let's all try to get together and save these clubs. But also, while we talking, Sarah, we got to keep the morale up for Greek letter organization, because the fellowship is the thing. To physically be with your sorrow.
Yes.
It's the same thing with church. Same thing with church.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just went through MIP training, and I'm like, this is so different, you know, doing it virtually. Yeah. I like it because of the convenience, you know, but at the same time, it's just, you know, you think about rituals, you think about ceremony, and just the fellowship of sisterhood and the camaraderie, period. It's, you know, it's different. And then you think about membership intake, trying to get new members, you know, how do you do that?
And I think just like what we're doing right now, I feel so much love coming through this computer.
Yes.
That's what we got to do.
Yes.
We got to push the love, but also we got to continue. We got to be with each other. We got to check on each other.
Absolutely.
You know? That's why we're going to do this again.
Yes.
We're going to do it again. We're going to schedule some time, and we're going to do it again. Okay, so what's your next question?
So just a segue, how do you feel about the status quo of America? Because, child, I was not ready. I was not ready.
Listen, right now, and first, I'm happy that Cheryl Underwood Radio is now on par with all radio stations that got Biden-Harris campaign buys, sponsorship Biden-Harris. Yes. We are now going out to the Senate races because we believe that we started BlackRadioSolidarity.com in 2016, and it was to drive souls to the polls. And really what happened was I called Tom Joyner, and Tom Joyner said, okay, let's go get Steve. So we went and got everybody, Dee Dee McGuire, everybody that was in Black Radio. And we put them together in this coalition to drive souls to the polls. Then we kept it going for Black Panther. I saw a clip of Black Panther, and I said, this movie got to make $1 billion or more because they say we can't do it, and yes, we will.
Yes.
So then we started to get everybody, help us buy theaters out so kids can see this movie so they can see themselves. And I remember talking about Black Panther was richer than everybody, every superhero out there, you know,
right?
Because people didn't know those little things. So anything that I learned in entertainment, I was pushing it out there. Yes. And so in your answer to your question about the status quo, we change the world.
Mhm.
Entertainers bring the cameras to illuminate what the people are doing and feeling. So
Yes.
when we get down to voting, our Get Out the Vote initiative under BlackRadioSolidarity.com is for the soul of the nation. We will take souls to the polls. We will turn up the turnout and
Yes.
go blue.
Yes.
Be loud,
Yes.
united, and engage this election. And so for the Biden-Harris campaign to do a buy on Cheryl Underwood Radio, a sponsorship buy on Cheryl Underwood Radio, makes us on par with all syndicated radio shows. And I thank this affiliate for being part of helping us
Yes.
build a movement. We're building a movement, and we need people to vote. And young people, Busy Bee, I
Absolutely.
need you to talk to the young boys.
Yes.
Don't fall for them manipulating the desire for Ice Cube to help bring about change for our people. Don't let them manipulate 50 Cent. Don't let them manipulate anybody, because at the same time, they using them to try to make it look like using Brother Kanye, using him. Herman Cain is still dead and ain't spoke about him at all.
Okay.
God, Father, please.
When you hollering out the Proud Boys,
Mm.
you let us know what you really feel about us.
Exactly.
When you say Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization,
Listen.
I know what you feel about us. And I'm saying this as a registered Republican. I am a never Trumper. Now, I'm wearing the shield of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Our job as a community conscious, action oriented civil rights organization
Come on.
is get the information to the people so they can be educated to vote. And we must fight voter fraud, voter disenfranchisement. We are doing good
Yes.
in the neighborhood. Vote early.
Yes.
Vote now. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
It does. Absolutely. It does. It does. Thank you so much. I know we got to wrap up. I just got one little nosy question I have to ask from comic to comic. Do you have a pre-show ritual?
Yes.
Okay.
Mike Washington has been traveling with me for over 20 years. He has been opening for me, brother out of Washington, D.C. Erna Fouché from Pack Rat Foundation for Education. She is our soror. She was my Florida State director. She's out of West Palm Beach, Florida. She runs my foundation. She travels with me. Nisa Green is my backup makeup artist. Dale McDonald is my makeup artist when I'm in the city or close by. But when I go on the road, Nisa Green out of Atlanta works with me. So my ritual is I pray, I meditate, I get my mind ready to do the show. I get my face and everything, my outfit, my wig on and everything to do the show. And then I ask the Lord, I first disregard some of these words. I'm going to say, Lord.
Yes.
I asked the Lord, disregard.
It's going to get ugly.
Right.
You created me in your image.
Heart.
Remember
you know
that.
Heart, Lord. And you also disregard what's going to be in that glass, Lord, because I need motivation, Jesus. You know my heart.
Yes.
And then I ask him to help me do what he's telling me to do. Help me do. And if I can live long enough to be better at it, I want to touch some lives today. And I know I'm speaking in a language that people understand. And I think the Lord he's always answered my prayer. And I want to say this too before we go. For everybody who are believers for Biden, we have a Get Out the Vote gospel event. Okay. It's a gospel event, and it's this Sunday, October the 25th. It's 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's 12:30 p.m. your time?
Yes, ma'am.
Central. Right, it's this Sunday. You go to gotvlive.com. Go to gotvlive.com.
Okay.
This is a gospel event hosted by Megan Good, Devon Franklin.
Okay.
You're going to hear our next vice president from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Howard University Bison. Kamala Harris will be speaking. Mary J. Blige. So many other people, faith-based communities. But I want this affiliate to be part of that, because for the soul of the nation, we will take souls to the polls. And I thank you all for this interview, and let's schedule a next one soon. Fridays are always good for me.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you,
absolutely. Thank you
for
so
supporting
much.
KUAW Radio.
Thank you, Mama Underwood. I'm going to call you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And
This
thank
is-
you all who have tuned in today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us on
Yeah, we got in there
KUAW
before we went
98.5. That's
So-
knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. You have Busy Benton. Mister, if you ain't busy, you're not grinding in the building. I am Janelle Banks, known as Miss Just Laugh. And once again, thank you so much to Cheryl Underwood. Oh my gosh, a phenomenal
Lord.
woman. Yes, she is.
Thank you.
And thank
Yes,
you to
Lord.
KUAW for having us. Stay tuned. We got more shows. You know the schedule. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you show support. You can drop and donate also so we can, put you on an ad or something, make you look real pretty or whatnot. So
Yeah.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for tuning in, and y'all have a phenomenal day. Bye.